for how to arrest abdominal distension, bloating, idiopathic IBS symptoms that are also happening in conjunction with your attempts to lose weight and you're not having success at losing weight and you're over 50.
Hi, welcome to the Judy Terrell Show, where I explore topics intended to optimize every body 50, 60, 70, and above.
Hi, are you somebody who is over 50, is struggling to lose weight, and is also having extensive bloating, gas, distension, and cramping and pain, possibly diarrhea, constipation in your digestive system? Then you are in the right place. You are now joining me on episode number 3 of a 6-part series that I'm entitling Your Guidebook Over 50 to a Happy Gut. Welcome, everybody. I am health coach Judy Terrell, and in this episode, I'm going to talk about an overgrowth of mold, yeast, and fungus in your body, and how that may be contributing to the digestional distress that you're experiencing, and a block to weight loss when you're over 50. All right, so how would you know if you're having an antifungal or a fungal, overgrowth? There are several ways that you can, several things that are evidence that might lend credibility to that is what's going on in your body. So when I'm working with a client and we're suspecting that this might be the case, one of the first things I do is ask them to stick out their tongue. You want to see a pink or a clean tongue without coating on it. Oftentimes, I have my clients stick out their tongue, bring them to a mirror, and they will see that there's actually like a white coating in either the root of the tongue or over the whole top of the tongue. That is a fungal yeast mold overgrowth that's coming up through your throat, back out your mouth, and also in your mouth. That's an indication that you are having an overgrowth of the molds and the yeast and the fungals that normally they live in our body anyway, but when they get overgrown, they become problematic. So that's one sign. Another sign is I'll look at someone's skin. Somebody who has unexplained, they might have been to the dermatologist and, they haven't been diagnosed with anything in particular, but their skin is having, outbreaks. I have had clients that are older that have actually open sores from having a fungal infection or fungal overgrowth in their digestive system, because those things then get picked up by the bloodstream and then transported to all parts of your body. And then your skin kicks in and it's going to try and detox. So as those, microorganisms come out the sweat glands, you're going to get basically a yeast infection in your skin. And it could be anywhere on your body. Oftentimes it's going to be like underneath the breast for women, in the folds of the skin, because this is where things stay wet and dark. And so they're more under your arm, but it can be anywhere. It can be on your face. I have had clients with them on their arms and legs. So an undiagnosed skin eruption could be fungal related, an overgrowth of yeast and fungus that's coming from your digestion. So we'll talk about what to do about these in a second. And then the third indication is, a distended belly after you're eating something that is carbohydrate-y or sugary or has white flour, processed carbs. And we're going to talk about processed carbs and their role in this and how to get out of it. But when you eat something and then you have like extensive distension in your digestive system, that can be an indication of a lot of things, but combined with some of the other things I just talked about, that could be an indication that you're having a overgrowth of pathogens that normally live in our body, but now they're proliferating at too high of a degree. Another thing that might be a sign that you're having an overgrowth of in your digestive system of the molds and the yeast is vaginal yeast infections. Everything's pretty close together down there. And so microorganisms that are coming from the anus from the digestive system can easily climb into other orifices down there, and then you'll have a yeast infection not coming from your vagina and an imbalance of the flora there, but coming from your digestive system and an imbalance of the flora there. All right, so these are some of the signs that might indicate that you're having an overgrowth of fungus, mold, and yeast. Now, what are some of the behaviors that you do that could lead to that, especially when you're over 50? So number one is medications. Antibiotics, a couple of runs of them because you've had the flu or some sort of, bacterial infection. medications, antibiotics when you have to have dental work done, and the dentist has you take antibiotics before the procedure so you don't have, you're less susceptible to infection, because we have a microbiome in our mouth, we have a microbiome all over our body in our skin, and we have a microbiome in our digestive system and other systems too. But these areas are where the yeast might show, and the medications that you're taking that are trying to decrease bacteria, bad bacteria, are also decreasing good bacteria in your colon, and they can lead to these overgrowth of the funguses, and then these negative symptoms being distension, pain in your abdominal area, and a blocked weight loss, which is what I'm addressing in this 6-part series. All right, so now eating a high processed carb, high sugar, high white flour products, and eating things that are high in added sugars that you might not even suspect is a second way, in addition to maybe taking some antibiotic medications on a regular basis or other medications that are just disrupting the balance in your colon that you're not told about as a side effect because we might not even know it. But, chronic medications that many people over 50, 60, and 70 are taking could create a situation for an imbalance in your digestive system of these, what I'll call the bad guys and the good guys that live there. So the medications and the antibiotics are a way that can set up for this happening. A second way, as I just started to get into, is eating a high processed carb diet. So what that means is you're eating, bagels or English muffins, or even Dave's Killer Bread, which has protein added to white flour. Every food has to have that has a label on it, has to have a line that says added grams of sugar. So looking at the foods that you're eating and seeing, I tell my clients to stay at 5 grams or less on that line for whatever they're eating, because if it's over that, you are setting yourself up for a number of things, but one of them is an overgrowth of yeast and fungus and molds that will be negative to your health, well-being, and your weight loss goals. Hi, everybody. I wanted to interrupt this podcast because I want to give you something. Your Second 50.life is my virtual platform that is designed for both men and women over 50 and 60, 70, and 80. And it includes pre-recorded video information on exercise and how to do it, whether you're fit and in good health, or if you have bad knees, bad shoulders, a bad back, whatever. It includes information on how to eat for weight management and how to eat for health management. It includes information on the psychology of aging and what do we need to do in our heads, because let's face it, this aging thing is not for the faint of heart. So your Second 50.life is a virtual platform of resources that you can access at your own leisure, but it also includes 2 times a month live video coaching with me so that you can bring your own individual questions and get individual coaching, as well as have access to all the information on the pre-recorded videos. So please check it out, because we're all in this together and we got this if we work as a team. All right, everybody, back to the show. Thanks. Not to mention your energy level. So, high processed carbs, high added sugars, and eating foods that are from white flour of any sort. It could be gluten-free crackers or gluten-free pasta, but still the source has been brought down into a flour that's very high sugar, very readily available sugar, and the molds and the fungus and the pathogens that live in our gut will eat that first and then proliferate and then overgrow, and then you have some of the negative symptoms that we're talking about. So medications and a high processed carb, high added sugar eating plan or habits, right? Those are the main, and the third thing that can create the situation of an overgrowth of the pathogens is high stress and lack of sleep. So I kind of put those into the same category because lack of sleep creates stress. But if you're in a very stressful period of your life, whether it be health issues for you or family or loved one or friend, you're still in the workforce and you've got deadlines and you're in a position of authority and it just never stops, you have elder care issues, you're taking care of other people, you still have kids you're responsible for, you're just living in the 21st century. We're stressed. We have a lot of stress. So, having a lot of stress is not going to go away, but not having tools to manage it can lead to an overgrowth of the pathogens in our digestive system. And so these are the symptoms I talked about first. How do you know you might have an overgrowth? What are some of the habit patterns and the lifestyle things that are happening that could exacerbate or create those symptoms? And now let's talk about what to do about them. All right. So the first thing is you got to take on a lower carbohydrate eating plan, not forever, but for anywhere from like a week to a month, to try and kill off the funguses and the yeast that are eating those products. And so they're up at this level, you're killing them off, and they're going to go down to this level. They're never going to die off, but you're going to get them back into a manageable level simply by focusing in on low starch vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats. For, like I said, anywhere from a week to a month, you'll be watching symptoms to see, if what you're talking about, the distension, the bloating, the tongue coating, the yeast infections on your skin and or vaginal area are going away. That's one of the ways you'll know whether or not you're making progress. All right. So that is like when I'm coaching clients on this, that is my number one, tool is let's go into a lower carbohydrate and definitely eradicate and take out the refined carbohydrates and any food that has more than 5 grams of added sugar per serving. And usually that is a very successful method at trying to, rebalance the bad guys and let the good guys proliferate. In conjunction with that, though, sometimes you have to take a more active steps because it's just been going on for too much or too long. And so you can talk to your doctor, and they have the ability to prescribe anti-fungal medications, one of which is something called diflucan, but there are other ones out there as well. And what that's going to do is almost like an antibiotic, but it's an antifungal. And in combination with going on to a low carbohydrate, definitely low refined and processed carbohydrate diet for a short period of time, you take the antifungal at the same time. That is like a 1-2 punch to eradicate these symptoms. So some doctors might not prescribe them, or you don't want to go to the doctor. There are some over-the-counter options for antifungals to go with the low carb, temporary low carb eating plan that you might do. Oregano oil is one, berberine, grapefruit seed extract, and caprylic acid. These are all over the counter. You would follow the script on the bottle for how much to take. Double check with your pharmacist in case there's any interaction effects with medications you're on or your doctor. But combination of a low processed carb and low added sugar carb diet combined with an antifungal, either over the counter or prescription, is, like I said, a 1-2 punch at really getting effective at bringing those mold, yeast down and funguses down into the level they are supposed to be in your body, so your symptoms are now arrested. Then the two other things I'll add is environmental toxins, molds and funguses can also, you're breathing them in, getting them into the sinus cavity, and then they get picked up by the capillaries and then into the bloodstream, and now that can exacerbate symptoms in the digestive system. So, if you're living in a moldy environment in your house, you might want to take a look at that. Get a dehumidifier, try to control for that. And then stress level, everybody is under stress, so it's not whether or not you can eradicate stress, but is having effective management tools that you are doing on an ongoing basis. So it could be a gratitude journal in the morning when you wake up before you, go out for your day. It could be a gratitude journal before you go to sleep, so that you're going to bed with happy, positive, life-affirming thoughts, and then dreaming on those. That's the last thing you're thinking about before you go to bed. I love that technique as an anti-stress management tool. Extended exhale breathing. You can Google this, box breathing, and you'll find how to do that. That you can do any time in the day just to help to de-stress you. So those are two quick tools that are effective. but there's many others as well. But stress management techniques will help to control and alleviate this fungal and yeast and mold overgrowth in your digestive system. All right, everybody. So this is episode number 3 in a 6-part series. My goal in this is a guidebook for how to arrest abdominal distension, bloating, idiopathic IBS symptoms that are also happening in conjunction with your attempts to lose weight and you're not having success at losing weight and you're over 50. These will work for any age, but when you're over 50, 60, 70, and 80, our digestive systems are compromised from age to begin with. And so we're more susceptible to the things that I'm bringing up in this guidebook. And so that's why I'm saying over 50. I'm also a specialist in over 50 men and women. So that is why I'm saying over 50. All right, everybody. So this is, like I said, episode number 3. There are 3 more. And the goal is to get all 6 of them so that you're, kind of juggling all 6 of these tools that I'm giving you, because it may take 3 or 5 of them, not just one of them, to actually, arrest the abdominal discomfort and the block to weight loss. All right, everybody, please like or subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Check out my other platform, yoursecond50.life, because I have just an endless library that I'm adding to all the time on topics related to weight management and optimal aging for over 50, both men and women, not just women, because, men need help too. And we want our partners around if we are women as we're aging and having longevity and living long lives with long health spans. All right, buddy, we got this aging thing. Stay tuned. Watch episode number 4. See you soon. And if you'd like to have access to some of my additional resources, I can be found at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on my website, www.judyterrell.com.